free.
Loved Australia, loved Australia. Came in 1989, could go to any job. You know, I could walk out of a job one day and into another one the next. Politics is the last conversation in this pub now. Used to go to a pub, you know, have a drink, have a talk about what was going on, whether it was locally, state or international. No one talks politics in this pub. No one believes that politics play a positive part of anyone's life. There's a massive loss in faith. These people are lining their pockets down in Canberra. Everyone knows it, even they know it. It's been exposed. Promises, promises, promises. If you can't afford something, right, like our kids can't afford to buy a house now. Especially look at Petrie. It's about to explode with real estate because of the university. A lot of old-time people that have been here for years will simply have to move because they can't afford to live here. The university can have the possibility of making a great influence here, but it will be at the cost of the locals. So things will have to change. Economically great, for those that have money, that's fine. There are next to no motels here. So all these parents that are visiting their kids are going to stay where? The investors will come in. They're just sitting there waiting for that university to get to a certain stage where they actually believe, because this has been an ongoing promise for a long time. They want to see development, but once it seriously kicks off, in will come the investors. And they will buy up properties here that have large sections. They need to build things like motels. This pub will not cater. That Woolworths up the road won't cope. But there's going to be big changes in Petrie. Because at the end of the day, it's a great little place to live because it's like a last bastion for people, you know, with country versus city. So we are on the fringes. So we will get pushed out.
And I've been here 15 years now, and wouldn't live anywhere else. So there you go. Yeah. And the amount of traffic that now goes into the city is because of problems that are caused because there's not enough parking at stations. They're talking about redeveloping this site and putting in shops and cinemas and things like that. And it's going to cause havoc, absolute havoc for commuters. We went through it a few years ago when they redeveloped the whole of Ferny Grove station, and you couldn't get a park after 7:30 in the morning, sometimes 7:15. So it meant that, you know, people were parking illegally all over the Ferny Grove, all over Ferny Hills, just to try and get into work during the day. So it is a real big problem.
I've met Peter Dutton on several occasions through work and other things, and I think he's I get the impression that he's a very good local member. I think he tries very hard to do the right thing for the members here, for the people in this area. As far as a minister in the government and everything, there are some things he does that I agree with, some things that I probably disagree with, but that's the way it goes, yeah. But there are some decisions I think he's made that I probably would disagree with, but I don't think he's the devil that people that sometimes he's made out to be. Yeah. That job requires someone who needs to make fairly tough decisions. Quite often they're going to be decisions that are unpopular. They're decisions that often will be, it doesn't matter which way you go, you're going to upset a fairly large percentage of the population. So in that respect, I think you've got to have someone who's fairly tough to do that job, which he is. As I said before, some of his decisions I agree with, some of his decisions I don't agree with, but you need someone like that, I suppose, yeah.
We've lived in Dayburn now for 4 years, which is great. We moved here, bring up our young family and stuff like that, acreage, be able to do the kids to run around in the country style scenario that it is out here, where it's nice and laid back compared to living closer to town and stuff like that. That's why we moved out here. It's been great for the kids, been really good. They go to the local daycare and stuff like that, and they make good friends and have a good time and run around, feel nice and safe out here, which is good with a young family, you know. We don't seem to stress too much about that, it works well. All the neighbours and everyone like that, everyone's friendly, everyone gets along, everyone lends a hand with each other if they need to, you know, at any time. Everyone's looking out for each other, which, you know, which is a thing these days, which is handy, probably not so common in other places. Out here it seems to be a good thing, which we're happy with. We've got our own business, so we're busy working all the time, stuff like that. So, you know, we're always trying to grow and do what we need to do, you know. I know that Peter Dutton is our local member, but I'm a person that doesn't really get into the politics side of things, so I just sort of roll along with what we need to do, and hopefully the person that is in the area does a good job for the community and makes it all work for us. Probably the biggest thing is being in business ourselves, especially small businesses, if they can give them more of a go instead of like you see like the likes of all the bigger companies getting bigger and bigger and making it harder for the smaller person that are in business, that they still can have a go and still do what they need to do, you know, whereas these days they want big companies to take over big things, but they forget about the little guys that's still there and do everything and do a lot better job half the time than the bigger companies, you know, and that's what I do find with that. If they go back to how it was years ago, whereas all your little businesses all worked in together, and now especially that the bigger the companies get, the more the actual, what would you say, the part of like not so much customer service, but if you rang someone, you get like a voice recording, you can never get onto the person that you need to actually speak to get the problem sorted. So they need to go back to having that smaller business scenario where you're face to face with the right person and you can get things sorted a lot quicker and easier instead of talking to someone that's on an exchange or waiting, you know.
I think the atmosphere of the Australian economy has a hell of a lot to do with what's going on and encouraging people. You know, if you've got a strong, vibrant government looking after the needs of the Australian people, talking about infrastructure growth, talking about employment opportunities, talking about a strong, stable economy, that gives everybody the confidence to get the job done. They know they're safe and secure. They're going to invest in what they're working on, investing in people, finding new opportunities and going after export growth. So, you know, it's everything. I found Peter a great guy. When we moved up here into the Brendale region, Peter was one of the first guys to come down here and welcome us in. He took a lot of interest in having a look at what we do and understanding our business. And, you know, we've been involved in a few, you know, like Salvation Army fundraisers and what have you with him. And, you know, he always stands up and gives a good vision of what he can see happening for Australia. I think he's a down-to-earth guy. We certainly enjoyed meeting him up here. And one of the telling things that I always think about is that he walked our factory around there, meeting all of our production team, shaking their hands, and you know they're all keen to meet him and have a bit of a chat. So he can talk to everybody, and I think with Peter what you see is what you get. He's down to earth, he's hard working, he's local to this area, and he's trying to make this whole region better. I know he's got plans for Linkfield Road. It's the toughest road to get out to the highway of an afternoon or of a morning, and you can see the trucks and cars banked up there. Peter's got a plan to get that fixed up and widened, multi-lane, keep the place moving. But I think Peter gets a tough run. I think he's an easy one for him to take a pot shot at, and it's the old bit of the tall poppy syndrome. You know, the bloke standing up, trying hard, doing a good job. Everyone's wanting to, you know, knock him down a peg. So I like Peter. I think he's great for the region and great for the country.
All of my friends are very aware of what's happening in the media and with politics at the moment because they've grown up in a place where like lots of minorities and stuff aren't welcome or have difficult times, so they're like, I want to fix this. And so as they're getting older now into like their young 20s and young adulthood, they're realizing these are all the issues that we're having. They're still not changing even from when I was like 10 years old. So they're really like very switched on with what's happening and who's actually going to put us in the right direction, I guess.
Please lead us. One person, lead us. That would be nice.